Trans swimmers at UPenn. Oh, well, $175 million was just lost by University of Pennsylvania. They should lose more, actually, because they also had all these protests that made Jewish students feel incredibly uncomfortable and victimized on campus. Anyway, this trans swimmer, you know the trans swimmer I'm talking about, all kinds of awards, blew through all these records. UPenn, so proud of it. Imagine being Riley Gaines and like being forced to have to change with somebody who has not gone through the operation. Let's just be very, very clear. Has a very different set of body parts. I don't mean to be too graphic, but that is so wrong on every level. I can't even believe that we have to talk about this. Take a listen.
President Trump has promised to protect female athletes. He has threatened to rip federal funding away from any university that defies his executive order banning biological males from infiltrating women's sports, and he is doing it. We are the first to report that President Trump has paused $175 million in federal funding from the University of Pennsylvania over its controversial policies. A senior administration official telling Fox Business that this is just a taste of what could be coming down the pipe for Penn, a proactive punishment from the president to pull back discretionary spending going to the school from DOD and HHS. The university is still at risk of losing all its federal funding as a result of the ongoing Title IX investigations looking into Penn for allowing transgender athlete and biological male Lia Thomas to compete on the women's swim team, use women's locker rooms, while exposing his male genitalia to his fellow female athletes.
Can you believe that we're even talking about this? I mean, what kind of surreal upside down universe are we living in where somehow it's okay for somebody with the full on body parts of a man to be changing next to you in the locker room and for the university to say, you suck it up, you deal with it. You're just a girl, right? He thinks he's a girl, but you're just a girl. I'm sorry. This is like really, really bad for women. And the fact that liberal women would stick by this blows me away. Like, I'm like, are you guys like really, really crazy? Like, what is your point? You feel like maybe this will make you stronger? Like maybe you'll have to swim even faster? No, you won't be able to, because guess what? Lia Thomas couldn't get to first base in swimming. Was ranked like way down, like number 400 and something. And then all of a sudden is winning new records, bursting through all these records that had previously been set and collecting all the golds. I'm sorry. That is not in the name of protecting women in any way, shape, or form. You fought so hard for Title IX. And then it gets stripped away from you in the name of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Somebody who, I mean, you know what, Lia? I'd have a little more respect for you if you actually went through the operation and lost a body part. Then maybe we could at least talk. It still wouldn't matter, though. It still wouldn't matter, and I'll tell you why. Without having to be too graphic and taking it back to Bio 101. For all those years, Lia Thomas, when Lia Thomas was a boy, a man, Lia Thomas was growing muscle with a lot of testosterone in Lia Thomas's body. Therefore, there's a certain amount of muscle mass that was accumulated. You know why they tell women to really make sure that you work out, especially when you get into your 40s and 50s? It's really important because that muscle mass, that's there and hopefully going to last you the rest of your life, okay? So when you have the hormones, in other words, you hit a certain point in your life and you're not going to have the same kind of hormone function. And so women need to really make sure that they work out before they get there. Listen, if you're a young man and you're working out and you're building muscle and you have all that testosterone, that's great. You're going to build muscle and you're going to triumph over the naturally born females. Again, I can't believe we even have to talk about it, but we do, okay? Because it keeps happening. I want to go out to Portland, Oregon. This blows me away, all right? I have a daughter who's a runner, so this really, really gets to me when I see stuff like this. This is the women's 400 in Portland, Oregon, and a male student just left all the female runners in the dust and set a season record Must be awfully proud of himself there, Take a look at this. Okay, here we are, coming around the track. You can't see any of the girl runners. Oh, there they are, way, way behind. So this is courtesy of Libs of TikTok, one of our favorite Twitter accounts. And there we go, in Portland, Oregon, male runner in the girls 400, setting the new record, and the poor girls are left. I mean, this is horrifying to me that we're seeing this. It's just horrifying, but this is where we are right now, okay? So yes, Donald Trump is telling University of Pennsylvania, you're gonna lose $175 million in federal funding because you don't seem to have any respect for women's sports. Don't forget, even the NCAA came out and said, we are now going to make sure that girls compete against girls, boys compete against boys. So everybody's like on board except, a few lone states and colleges, but you'll lose the money. So that's that. Speaking of losing money, the Department of Education is about to lose a whole lot of money. I want to get to that in a second, but first, remember my company, 76 Research. I started this financial research company for you guys because I wanted to make sure that you had a fair, even playing field when it came to investing. Go over there. You can get it for $1 a month. Code word dollar, courtesy of me, 76research.com. We just published actually 2 new ideas there for you this week. 76research.com, code word dollar. And of course, my friends at Balance of Nature, you still hear this little darn post-nasal drip thing I got going on. Sorry, too much information. Anyway, I've had a cold, but I only got 1 this year, which is like a record for me, like a serious record, because I'm normally sick with like 4 or 5 different colds throughout the year. I've been taking my Balance of Nature. You can too. 35% off. Use code word Trish. We'll put the information in the page, in the show description, so you can get the link. Use my code word Trish. It helps the show. It helps me. It helps you. 1-800-246-8751 is their number. Okay, the Department of Education is going, bye-bye. See you later. This is what Linda McMahon was brought in to do, to dismantle the Department of Education, which was started in 1976 by none other than Jimmy Carter, who, wanted to get bigger and bigger and bigger so you could control what all these kids coming out of school would think. And Donald Trump's saying, no, I want to bring it back to the states. Let's let the states handle it. Let's let the states pay for it. Let's take this one off the federal bureaucracy. And of course, everybody's going nuts. I mean, I've seen some accusations of, this is the Jim Crow era all over again. I'm like, what? And then here's one on CNN. The woman's flipping out because, we're going to lose our DEI. Yeah, you're going to lose it. You better believe you're going to lose it.
It is interesting. You hear always return power back to the states. States have the power. Local governments have the power largely over education and control some 90% of the funding. And the polling on this is actually a majority of Americans oppose gutting the Department of Education. But as you said, it's still very popular with the Republican base.
Yeah, it's extremely popular with the Republican base. If you ever attended a Trump rally, he would go on stage and say this, and the crowd would really go wild. This is something that the MAGA base and some of the far right Republicans have really zeroed in on because of this idea that there is, DEI promoting or racial inequality promoting within the school system, putting one group of people over another, really trying to target that. But already, John, I would say that the administration has already moved to change the culture at schools so much. We know just yesterday that they stripped Pennsylvania University $175 million for them continuing to have a transgender swimmer compete at that school. We know that today Columbia University has to respond to the White House, who has demanded they overhaul their own culture, or else lose $400 million in federal spending. And of course, we've seen over the couple of days that they have really been increasing their targeting of pro-Palestinian protesters who are here on student visas. And so already the culture at these schools, both at higher education and lower education, are continuing to change. But I think this will be the most full-scale scale that they've done, of course, it's going to be, susceptible to legal challenges. But I think what we've seen over the last few days with USAID and all these kind of other agencies that the administration has moved to shutter, even if a district judge says, listen, you got to bring all these people back, it's been shown that it's difficult to claw these things back and get people back hired when they could be hired in a really unstable environment, because you don't know which court is going to say what.
Oh, yeah, we get a feel for those government employees. They're afraid to go and work for the government now because they don't have a guaranteed job for life. Wow. Okay, Columbia, you're going to lose $400 million because you can't keep Jewish students safe on campus. UPenn, you're losing $175 million because for some reason you're really stuck on having naturally born men compete against naturally born females. I can't believe we have to talk about that.